Hello and welcome to John and James Live. My name is John Hastings and I am with the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. James CeeLo. How are you today, James?
Wow, that's an intro, mate. Where did that come from?
Been
What have I done
practicing
to...
10 seconds ago. I practiced.
Was it?
Of
Wow.
course, mate. It's off the
Wow, wow,
cuff.
wow.
It's professional, James. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm good. I'm sort of gone fluffy. Oh, better zip that up a little. That's a bit
You're
indecent, isn't it?
quite a stylish gentleman, aren't you, James? Actually, you've got a bit of vibe to you. Have you always been like that?
Always.
Yeah, sometimes having style, you got to have an eye for the fit and clothing. Some people get it totally wrong, and some people just hit it just right. James, I think you're one of those guys. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. And dare I say the same for you. I mean, I think the first and only time we've met in person, not a lot of people know that, I was delighted by your dress sense.
Oh, thank
It
you, James.
was unassuming London gent about town of sort of
Yeah.
corduroys, brown shoes, brown in town. It was a bold move in itself. But yeah, just relaxed chic.
Relax shit. Yeah, there was an oversized pair of brown cords, which are slightly different. I quite like those.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
There
nice.
was it was hiding the Adonis that is underneath.
The twiglet legs that was hiding, I think there was, essentially.
The antithesis of
Anyway, James,
modern fashion. And we digress.
we digress. I've just won the lotto, 100 million.
It's astonishing.
We had some topics, didn't we,
Congratulations.
that we didn't really fancy too much. They was all quite deep. The world seems a little bit, I don't know, is it always chaotic? I don't know. It seems a little bit up in the air. Inflation, wars,
Greater
politics,
chaos.
immigration. It's just like one thing after the other, isn't it? And it's people are trying to find clarity, myself included, in a few different areas of life. And I thought, let's do something light. You know, let's do a thought experiment. With just one, you've just won 100 million. It's just an arbitrary figure, but it's enough to get you by, isn't it, for a couple of years?
It's a life-changing amount, isn't it?
It's gonna be, yeah. You're not gonna need to worry about money, but then it begs the question: what would you do? And let's just walk through that scenario, because people think it's easy, but sometimes there's more money, more problems, and then you get to the realization of you've got no excuses. Sometimes it's like being a rich person's kid. So you know that sometimes they can go off the rails and they don't find meaning in things. So let's start it off, James. You've just come to me. You've got the winning ticket. You've just won 100 million. Let's start off with, how are you feeling in general, first of all?
I think probably there's disbelief. It's like, is this actually happened? It's a pinch me moment. And knowing that life will never be the same again. And you fantasize, don't you, about what it is to win that amount of money. I mean, any amount of money is going to present or bring some level of change, isn't it? Even if it's only a couple of grand, you'd still, potentially do something with it. I think probably what I would do is wear like outfits like this all the time. I wouldn't give a shit about what anybody thought. I'd wear them to any occasion. And just knowing that actually it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you wear clothes now because it matters, or?
I think there's an element of me that does, to be honest. Less so as I get older. I care less. I still, I suppose, have that sort of hangover from childhood of having it drilled into me that you sort of, it's a respect thing, that if you're going somewhere, you dress accordingly. out of respect for the host. I think there's something around that to bear in mind, that you don't disrespect. But it's all perception, isn't it? At the end of the day, I think, you know. But if you were going to a black tie do, would you turn up in something like this, for example?
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would.
Would you want to go to a black tie do? Most of the people
So
really.
Well, interestingly, one thing I would do with the money is I would go and get a really nice suit made on Savile Row. Okay. It's just something
to have the experience.
Just to do it, just to go and get a made-to-measure, bespoke suit, probably pinstripe, and for the first time ever having a pinstripe jacket where the lines, this is the mark apparently, so I've been told, of a good pinstripe suit, is that the pinstripes sort of match on the shoulder when they sort of go into the arm here. Because the majority of pinstripe jackets that I've ever worn or owned, they don't line up, which is a bit of a, you know, a faux pas. So I would go and get a very, very nice bespoke suit made in Savile Row and have the whole bullshit thing going on of being, sir, suits you, sir, and having my inside leg measured, all that kind of thing.
I'm quite amazed, James, that this is your direction of 100 million. This is actually relatively boring, isn't it?
That would be the very first
you
thing
actually
that I would do.
Probably could do without 100 million. I know maybe a suit going to cost $5,000.
I wouldn't worry about the price tag. It wouldn't, you know, that it would be that thing, like it would be very self-indulgent, but it wouldn't bother me if I had 100 million.
Then what? You're going to buy a suit. When are you going to do it?
Well, then I'd pause. I'd pause for thought. I'd just take a moment.
I get the feeling you haven't thought about this 100 million properly yet, James. I'm not sure you've quite digested what you've just won.
I really have.
With 100 million, you could just invite Savile Row to your house.
Yeah, but it's the whole experience of going there, isn't it? You go up to London and you know, you go in there and in the environment, and it's the sort of, you know, you can imagine there's these kind of sandalwood panels and the leather and, you know, the whole kind of experience of doing it. I mean, that's a frivolous thing. And then I would sit down and consider, and then you do all the kind of stuff of getting a team around you to figure out what to do with the money in terms of, you know, for tax, for investment, for inheritance, etc., and protecting it. And then, you know, do all the serious stuff.
Yeah, because on 100 million, let's say you get a good tax person, whatever, you know, 10% returns. That's 10 million a year, isn't it? On interest.
Just on the interest alone. So
that's a lot of money to spend, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, like investments and things like that, you go down the sort of the index fund route and just make sure that there was a percentage of it invested.
Which is quite fear-based, isn't it? You've already, you know, money. You don't need to worry about money. Like, you're never going to need any more money. It would be hard to spend it unless you're going to buy like £100 million houses and yachts, and you've got an expensive lifestyle.
Yeah.
So putting that aside, what are you going to do, James, with your life? You know, you've gone and, you know, everyone's probably going to go and have a little splurge, aren't they? They're going to give some money away to family members. They might going to buy a couple of items that they feel are important to them, whether it's a suit for you or, you know, a new car or whatever you want, a house. But some of the big things are, where would you live? Where would you choose to live? And what the hell are you going to do with your day-to-day life? Like, it's not going to be geared around the need to make money anymore.
Yeah. And what's the new purpose? Because that's the thing, isn't it? I don't know that there are many people that have won. So this isn't earned money. This isn't sort of, you know, a over time earning. This is like suddenly it arrives in your bank account. And you go in and look at your balance, and there's 100 million in there. So there's going to be a period of adapting, of coming to terms with it, and then figuring out, because it all depends on the individual in respect of how quickly you could lose it. Like you said, buy a £100 million house, or even £1 million house, and then gamble it or do something frivolous, give it away, be so philanthropic that you're left with nothing. I mean, you could blow through it pretty quick, to be fair.
I think you could. Dr. KP says, can you see that, James?
Yeah.
With money coming in huge amount unexpectedly will have a tsunami effect. It will upset your mental equilibrium. Withdraw to a recluse and meditate.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I said. I'd sort of give myself some time just to consider it. I mean, that would be the first thing that I would do for myself. But
James,
then obviously,
you are the most boring 100 million winner I've ever met, James.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You want to retreat, and now you want to probably buy a $5,000 suit.
No, it'd be more than a $5,000 suit.
You're making like even a $20,000 suit. How much interest are you making? You're making about £1 million a month.
These are the early stages when I'm coming to terms with the whole thing.
Oh, this is the adaptation.
This is not this
phase.
Yeah. This is
so. What are you going to do with your life?
I am teasing you with the initial. So this is where my head is going. It's like that kind of initial what the fuck moment to actually going and doing something. But clearly, there's a kind of, for the kids, for your parents, making sure that they're okay, they're secure, they don't have any worries.
They're not going to have any worries. But what are you going to do for them? Are you going to buy them a house? Are you going to give them an allowance?
So I'd buy my mother and my sister a house.
Yeah.
Buy that outright, obviously. So they had their own houses, and I would give them an allowance too.
Okay. Yeah.
I would look at obviously things like charitable donations, but I would invest in certain businesses as well, and I would be intrigued to kind of meet with people that wanted investment.
Okay, you'd go down the investor route.
I would go down the investor route.
For what type of businesses?
Well, clearly my background is health.
To make money or to actually make a difference?
Just to make a difference. Just to make a difference. I think, in my situation, one particular business we do have that is seeking investment, I can think what a difference that money would make to making that dream a reality, or that concept a reality. And very much investing in people, as opposed to necessarily the product, the team behind it, and what their intentions are.
Yeah.
And the individuals, I think, I think that's what the majority of investors mostly kind of look at in respect of any investment. They look at the individuals and the team, and then the product second.
And you stay in the UK? Are you going to stay where you are in Southampton, or are you going to move?
I don't think, mate, this, again, very boring. I'd probably stay here where I am. Same
house?
Quite likely.
Seriously?
Initially.
James, 100 million.
God, at the stage I'm at life, it's I think there's bigger things to do with it. I think there's more impactful things to do with it.
You wouldn't have home gym, a bit of drive.
I'd have. So I'd have a sauna.
Yeah,
I'd have a proper.
You'd want to move house though, wouldn't you, James? You could live anywhere.
Seriously, mate, I honestly don't know that I would. Certainly straight away, I don't think I would. That wouldn't be a priority. That wouldn't be a priority.
Wow.
You
would stay in Southampton.
Things. Yeah, I think so. I'd probably buy a house abroad.
In that area.
I'd buy a house abroad that we could go and vacation in. Yeah, I'd kind of make sure everybody else was pretty much sorted, and then focus on kind of us, as in me and my wife.
Yeah. So this 100 million hasn't really changed anything that you can't do already, is it? You're living in the same house.
I certainly wouldn't be able to buy my mother a house. I wouldn't be able to buy my sister a house.
Yeah, but it doesn't really make any difference to you on a individual level. They're already living in a house. Like it's a mental thing that they would have a house that they don't have to pay for, so they haven't got a little bit of money worry. But in general, it's not a huge difference. Even without the 100 million, you could go on holiday once a year. You're living in the same house. You know, if you bought a suit maybe and you get it any suit tailored, you could do that easily.
Might even get 2 suits. I might get a navy blue pinstripe.
So nothing's changed, does it really, James? You just won 100 million and you haven't really dug into any real changes.
Well, the charitable giving, philanthropy, investment side is very much, isn't it?
And that would be your day to day. Like you would wake up and you would basically, your full-time job pretty much would be charitable donations. Meeting people, figuring out what works, what businesses would be good for people, what charities to give to. That would be basically your job.
I think I would work on the startup that we kind of have in the background. Certainly do more of this as well, having conversations, meeting people. We've talked about that on a previous podcast, haven't we? That if we did have that amount of money in the bank, what will we do? We certainly still do this.
Yeah.
But mate, it's an interesting.
It messes with your mind, doesn't it?
Existential question. Because again, it's in the realms of fantasy that if it actually happened, things would be very different, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but it really gets you thinking about who you are as a person, your identity, what you would go after, what you value.
Yeah, and I think if I was, like the same question 10 years ago would have been a very different answer.
It would have been different, huh?
Yeah, it would have been, like flash cars, bigger house, all the trappings.
Yeah.
So, enough about me. How about you?
100 million. If I won 100 million, I would. Last one with you, James. Would you be on LinkedIn if you had 100 million? Would it be rare that you use the platform? Would you be thinking about posting on LinkedIn?
I don't know if I would post, maybe more as an observer. And again, bearing in mind what I said about the philanthropy or the investment side of things. But then saying that you would be going to places or connect with people that wouldn't be necessarily on LinkedIn in that kind of sphere. So there would be certainly less engagement on LinkedIn, I think, on my part. But I'd probably I'd keep my hand in just out of habit, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think I can't see me being on it at all. Even since being on a holiday, I can't see. Looking at the feed, there's nothing there that pretty much it adds any value. for me personally. And it's a pain in the ass doing all the marketing stuff, isn't it? But do most people think marketing is just an absolute pain in the ass?
Yeah, I mean,
To be honest, it's
there's an
cringe. It's so
underlying.
cringe, isn't it? It's terrible.
It's a weird triggering platform generally. I think all of them
It's
have their
strange. Yeah.
Have their quirks, and that you kind of are there going, is that really kind of relevant to anything?
Yeah.
And
But
and
there's
we're
a
all
lot of
playing a
people that
game.
have got millions that are still on LinkedIn, James, and they have got that. And I'm interested in those types because winning in it is different from earning it. If you see the people that earn that type of money, it's like sometimes they haven't got the off switch. The personality that got them to 100 million is something where they potentially they can't enjoy it. They never arrive.
And I think that's a thing for me, is like not having earned it but won it.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely
how
different.
you then comport yourself in the world,
Yeah,
and whether there's a level of imposter, that this is literally something you've just won. You've not earned it. You've not gone out there and grafted, and this money is now yours.
yeah.
So, being in company with people that have earned this money, have created this wealth usually from nothing. I mean, it can be hereditary, whatever, but have created this wealth out of nothing. And how you then interact with those people, knowing full well that you've just won it.
For me, I don't think I would care that much, to be honest, James. About the whole status games, I would find it quite amusing that I just won 100 million.
But again, it fundamentally comes down to what you do with it, because you can hoard it, squirrel it away, or you can put it to good use.
Yeah.
And I think that, that for me is the defining element of it, that if you actually do good with it, then it doesn't matter where it came from.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. No, I'm the same. I would probably not live. I wouldn't live in London where I am now. No chance. I would definitely be more in nature somewhere. I'd definitely have maybe a place in London, but probably more in the country where I can have access and just get in and out. There's no way. I've got no interest in luxury watches, no interest in cars. I would just buy a standard, get around that's comfortable, not really too bothered. There's no real luxury there. I hate shopping. I can't think of anything worse than getting my suit measured. Honestly, I hate shopping. I like to just get in and out.
Though, is it? It's not the same. If you went and got a suit measured, there's none of this kind of like going trying, the stuff on off the peg and whether it fits or it doesn't fit. You're going in and getting measured specifically for an item of clothing. But you choose the fabric, you choose the style, you get measured.
When am I going to wear a suit?
Whenever you want.
Which is going to be never. I want to wear minimal clothing. I want to wear the same thing pretty much every day. I want to live in nature. Definitely want to live in nature. I want to be out trekking, experiencing, and then I'd probably just live off the interest, and then I'd just set up allowances for the people in my life that would sort of I feel would need it. You got to be careful with that though, because you can really mess yourself up, but you can mess other people up, definitely.
Yeah. And
how you give your kids unlimited resources, that you could really cause some damage.
Yeah, exactly. So how widely would you spread the news of your win? of your good fortune?
To be honest, I would like to keep it. I'd be very quiet. I'd be very quiet and unassuming. I wouldn't tell hardly anybody.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And then I would, I would set these things up. I'd like to do it like a surprise thing and just say, look, go to each person one-on-one and just say, look, want some money. Discuss with them how much they would want or how much they feel, and make it like a collaborative conversation about, look, I'm open. This is like an endless stream of money here. I've got £1 million a month in interest from this thing. I don't even need to touch the 100 million.
Yeah.
How much do you feel you need? Where would you like to live? Let's hire some type of career coach, clarity coach. Let's hire coaches to figure out how to be the best person you could potentially be. Like, where would you like to add value in the world? What sort of pushes your buttons? And for me, I would like to probably get into projects about especially helping children. I've just got children in poverty, like orphans, people who are really struggling, need opportunity, access to education, access to housing, food, fundamentals, like sort of Maslow's hierarchy of need fundamentals. Any projects that are involved with those, elevating society and having people so they're not making decisions purely on making money all the time. Like, they actually really want to solve a problem, whether they want to be a scientist or they want to be an engineer, or they really want to solve something, or they want to learn an instrument, or they want to be a painter. Because the problem with the money is if you remove all potential pain, some people you could become lazy if it's not your personality. And you see people that they say they win the lottery and then they lose it all, or they always get divorced, don't they? Like, practically everyone who wins a lotto gets divorced, apparently, it exposes the reality of your relationships, and it exposes the relationship with yourself. Because if you're status orientated, you're going to get more status orientated, and it's never going to fill the void.
It exaggerates the traits that are already there.
Yeah.
So, when you start to think about sayings like, sort of money corrupts, root of all evil, etc., well, it isn't. It's down to the individual to do with it, what their personality kind of would naturally lead them to do. So
100%. Yeah. It's going to elevate who you are, isn't it?
Yeah.
On that one. So it's like, who are you? Who are you when you're not thinking about money? Who are you when you're not on LinkedIn posting stuff because you need to pay interest on a mortgage and you need to get somewhere? You need to pay this thing off. You need to buy this holiday, or you need to hit your quarterly target. Who are you without your quarterly targets? Who are you when you don't need to build some arbitrary business, which probably it might not even solve any real problems? It might just be another pair of socks, but there's 1,000 other pairs of socks, but you've just branded it so it's a good pair of socks and you made a few million quid. But who are you when you don't need to do that? Which is, you see people like the Elon Musks or the Hormozis. I'm interested in these people when you look at them, and like, for Musk, it's nothing about the money, is it? Really, it's more a process. It's the process of the business. It's the process of attacking a problem, which seems to be the energy that comes from it. If you look at sort of Hormozi, he made like 100 million in a weekend or something from this latest book launch, which was just ridiculous.
Right.
But his life is, he chooses to, he's got 100 million. He chooses to sit in a dark room and do more business. And I'm thinking, is that exposing something in him that he's always on that hamster wheel, and he just likes to go to the gym, he likes to eat what he likes to eat, and he likes to sit in very dark rooms and do marketing? Because for me, I can't think of anything worse than doing that. But obviously, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to make 100 million.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
So it's a very, it could expose you a lot. I see a lot of people who have made a lot of money who do post on LinkedIn. And I know personally that they've made a lot of money. And I think sometimes there's maybe, because it's a rarity, there's probably loneliness, because you are beyond your peers, just because you can afford it, but most of the people around you can't. So
that's a weird psychological experiment as well, isn't it? It's that sort of casting your line out by putting that in your description, your headline. It's maybe like sold a business for however many X, exited 5 businesses, blah, 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 blah. And, that's setting your stall out, isn't it?
Yeah. And status signaling, isn't it?
That's the banner headline. So status signaling, but you're setting your stall out in a very, very particular way. And then depending on the individual, it's like how they then deal with the approaches that they get as a result, or the interactions that they have as a result. If people are there just because they've been impressed or enticed by the headline, nothing about them as an individual, nothing about their personality type or who they are, what they represent, purely by the fact that they've made money and could represent something for the individual making contact. And then it's like, well, you're only talking to me because I've made a bit of money. It's like, well,
yeah, that's a good point, actually. It changes the dynamics, doesn't it, between you. If you're a single person, potentially you're going to be more like these rich people. They're more wary who they speak to and trust, because there is going to be a lot of people who's going to be after your money. You're probably going to get all your long lost relatives come out the woodwork and want to be your friend, which is going to cause drama. And then where do you cut the line? Do you help your friend? Do you help your friend from school 20 years ago? Do you help your kids' friends?
Yeah, that kind of weird thing, isn't it? It's like, if you didn't have the money, would you have even entertained the idea of doing that? But if you're there sort of twiddling your thumbs going, shit, so what do I do today then?
Yeah. And is money is money their real problem? We're talking about throwing money at problems, but is that really? Because most of the people, I've got a few people in my family, an extended family, that have made a lot of money, and I can say, kids bit depressed. Kids are depressed. It's not ticked all of the boxes. They've reached the pinnacle, and even they've got into retirement, and they've been retired for 5 minutes, and they can't handle it. They've gone back to work. One of them in his 70s. He can't sit still. That's part of his personality that has made him successful. Is the same personality which fragments relationships and disconnects. So it's not been like a 360 self-development. It's been very good in a particular area at the detriment potentially to other areas. So more money is not really going to solve that problem. It's a sort of deep personality trait that which is externalized into making money. So like you said, it's gonna, what about this successful person who's already made a couple of million and they win 100 million, is that just gonna, are they want to enter the room of people who are making $1 billion now? Do you reckon that's what their mindset is? It's the status thing just keeps getting higher and higher for them.
Yeah, and again, it's like it's down to the individuals, isn't it? It's like, when is enough enough?
Yeah.
And when do they consider themselves to have made it? You know, is that, you know, going into that club, that particular club of billionaires?
Yeah.
You know, and will that then enable them to quiet the demons because they're in that bracket now? And then you've got people that you know, always going to have people that are better looking, wealthier, stronger, taller. And like, you know, at what point can you say that I am enough?
Yeah, it becomes a real fundamental personality thing, doesn't it? When you remove the excuse of the money. But the thing is, for most people, James, money dictates their life, so you never get the chance to actually explore that. But with AI, you might not have 100 million in your bank account, but potentially with automation in the future, then you might be 100 million pounds rich in your access to everything you need.
Yeah.
So you might have that same you might be able to travel for free. You might be able to have access to education for free. There's no reason why we can't have like this zero marginal cost society where everybody has access to housing. So you're sort of living like somebody who's got 100 million. And then you think to yourself, the things that you do buy, which are the expensive things, they're more, anyone could buy a painting. You could buy a painting for 20 quid, or you could buy one for 100 million. It's the rarity and the belief behind that painting. And a lot of the time it's the same with, you could buy a car for $1 million, or you can buy a brilliant car for like 50 grand. It's a car. Once you move behind the psychology of the status and the signaling and what it means to you to be a person, there's not much difference, is there?
It is exactly that. It's that outward projection of like, all you're doing really is adapting to the perception of what your peers might perceive as being success. It's like if you drive around in a Volvo or you drive around in a Bentley, and it's what it says about you as an individual, or the perception of what you think it says about you as an individual. It's like, well, if you drive around in a nice Volvo, it might be the nicest Volvo, but at the end of the day, it's not a Bentley, for example. Are you falling short if you don't go the full hog and get a Bentley?
Yeah.
And then if you've got a Bentley, well, you know, you'd want to be in something even better than that. If it's not £1 million car, then, you know, when you sat in your Bentley, you've undersold yourself because it's not, you know, something else.
I personally don't resonate with any of that, though.
No,
personally, but I'm not saying that's a good thing, because if you do have that sort of mindset, it does give you a lot of energy to be ambitious, doesn't it? It gives you a lot of energy.
You up to that. So you get to that point, you get that particular car, for example, and people have got, you know, their mood boards and their goals on the board, and that might be represented by, you know, Bugatti Veyron at £1 million or whatever, how much they are now.
Yeah.
And you know, that is the pinnacle. And then you get to if you do ever get to that point, and you sit there and go, yeah, I'm not really sure that's done it. That itch still hasn't been scratched.
There's a guy in Greenwich, James, who he's got a red Ferrari, and he always goes and he parks outside where he shouldn't do to go walk in and get a coffee. He just wears jeans, looks like a regular guy. But it might say, when I look at him, first of all, I don't know if it's a jealousy thing, because I would personally, if I had the money, I would never drive a Ferrari. I would feel embarrassed to do it. And I think I look at it, I feel a bit of pity. I think, oh man, I see what you're doing. It's like your insecurity is on, I mean, the Richter scale of 100.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to do that. You're doing it for a specific purpose.
So when you observe him then walking into the coffee shop, is he sort of looking around and seeing if anybody's looking and then go, or does he just get out of his car and go straight into the coffee shop?
Yeah, you can tell he knows people are watching, so he's trying to play it cool. Right. But it just doesn't look cool. People are thinking, oh man, you look like a twat. Parked a bright red Ferrari outside of Starbucks in a busy place where you don't really need to just go and get a coffee, and then the bloody engine sounds like a rocket, which is also embarrassing. And he's just
all about look at me.
Man, it just looks terrible. It just, for me, it just looks embarrassing. I wouldn't even do, on 100 million. I would never do that personally. I wouldn't want that attention. I don't think I would need that attention. I just feel it's just unnecessary. I don't like it, because if everybody had a Ferrari, would you want to do that? If everybody had the same car?
It wouldn't have the same impact, would it? Of course.
It wouldn't have the same impact, would it? So it'd be completely different on that one. But it was an interesting one to observe. But I also know a guy who buys Ferraris. He lives in like a £5 million house, done well in his business, come from, quite humble beginnings. But every time he buys a Ferrari, a few months later, it's, got bird shit all over it. He doesn't really look after it. It hasn't really done maybe what he thought it was going to do. And now he's in his 50s. He's starting to reach a place where you can, so I'm told through somebody else, that he's starting to think, what's it all about? What's this thing I'm chasing? I've got the money. I'm reaching, 50, 60 years old. What next? And I guess if you've won that money, 100 million, this is going to be, like that person says on steroids, go and meditate. I reckon this is going to be a bit of a weird shock to your system, depending on, in terms of what personality type you are. It can mess up if you're a high achiever and you're doing it to show. It could be a weird one, couldn't it? It could mess you up a little bit because you haven't earned it. If it's status orientated, you're going to be on a hamster wheel of validation with an endless amount of resources to try and fill this void. So you're going to be out shopping every day. You'll probably be depressed. Then it will be maybe trying to sleep with a load of people.
But it's like being an addict, isn't it? If whatever your addiction was, and then you had unlimited access to whatever your addiction was.
Yeah.
It's an incredible, if thing that sort of prevented you from just annihilation was the cost of that particular thing that you were addicted to.
Yeah.
The restriction on access. And then you suddenly had access to it 24/7.
Yeah. We see it, don't we, with like the Mike Tysons of the world. What did he make? 500 million to $1 billion, and he's like spent it all. He's buying like tigers and stuff. He's gone absolutely mental. Whitney Houston Like, how much money did Whitney used to have? Hundreds of millions. Suicide, her daughter dies by suicide, drugs, abuse. You see it, don't you, with the people that have? You do see a lot of people that have a lot of money.
And again, it's that thing, isn't it? It's not the money. It's the money is the vehicle,
yeah,
that enables them to act out those things. But two individuals with the same amount of money do not have the same outcomes.
Yeah.
So it's easy to have those, like I said, the money corrupts, root of all evil, etc. But it all depends on what you do with it at the end of the day. And the foundational piece is there, that if if you've got a giving nature and rather see other people fare better, and maybe putting their needs not necessarily ahead of your own, but on a par, then depends on whether you're a narcissist or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
would be a great feeling to be able to give, wouldn't it, James? For me, that would be the most exciting part. I can't think of anything worse than doing shopping and buying stuff for myself.
I allow myself that one indulgence, and the rest of it, it wouldn't be the cars, it wouldn't be the house. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's it's being able to, as cheesy as it sounds, change lives, but in a way that is not. It's like it's always tricky when you see people that are massively into charity. And the accolades, and if you were to give anonymously, for example, that's literally, I believe personally, it's about the giving.
Yeah.
But if it comes with the spotlight and the aren't I great, and this is what I do for charity, and not a lot of people know that what I do, blah 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 blah. It's always to me, this is my own personal perspective, tinged with that slight kind of narcissistic.
Yeah, 100%.
Element of that sort of,
especially if you name the charity after yourself, the CeeLo Foundation.
Yeah, it's. But then at the end of the day, who's to say? Because there are sections of the population that will benefit. I mean, there's no two ways about it that they would not be in the situation they're in had that charity not existed in whatever shape or form, but it just sits slightly uncomfortably that if it's very much about the person behind it, but then I guess sometimes it's a means to an end, that they have to be that figurehead to attract donations. More. So it's never cut and dry.
Then if we think about charity, is charity just the gaps in society where our system's not working very well, and do we just need to address that system straight on?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of charities wouldn't exist if that had been addressed.
Yeah,
but certainly around mental health is a huge aspect. that if you could do, with provision, I know there's JAQ, Jack. That's an organization that's providing mental health assistance on a wide scale. I think they've taken quite a bit of investment.
Yeah.
To make it more available to more people. The resources are there.
But isn't this mental health thing, James, more about, it's like having a monkey. It's like a monkey in a cage, and you're saying, okay, right, we're going to give you a telephone so you can call a therapist, but you're still in a cage. You still have to perform to get. Yeah, you have to perform to get access to bananas and water. And
it's addressing the root cause for sure.
Yeah, but we'll give you a phone call so you can speak to a therapist. That's what it feels pretty much all the society is about. It just makes total logical sense that people won't in general feel that good or be that healthy when you live in a certain way. It's not rocket science, is it?
No.
If you sit at a computer for 8 to 10 hours a day in artificial light under stress to meet KPIs, and if you don't do that, then you're not going to have a house to live under.
Job is in danger, yeah.
And then all your family's then in danger of not being able to eat. And then you've got an abundance of access to poor quality food. It's not really rocket science that potentially it's not going to be the most optimal way of thriving as a human. Is it?
No.
Across the board. And then you've got 70-80% of people who are struggling with weight. God knows what the rates in terms of mental health issues are. But we treat it like it's some external alien that's come down from space, and it's like you've caught the flu. When it's not that. It's
interesting with the narrative as well. If you hear people talking about it, I mean, I watched some interviews with people that are, in organizations around health, for example, and they're saying the same kind of things. There's a similar narrative. It's almost politics speak about, what we have to do to cure the obesity epidemic, to get people more active, to do this, to do that. And it's just so formulaic.
Yeah.
And like they've sort of been to media school
to say the same
saying shit. What they think is the right thing, or what they'd be said, look, don't go down that route. You can say this, but don't say that. And it's just it's a bit trite at times. It doesn't really get to the root cause. Trite and shite. Rhymes with trite.
It's shite, isn't it? It's the same shit all the time. The statistics don't really say that things are getting better in that direction. And really the fundamentals I don't see is that hard to work out. Is it when I see someone who says, oh, they're depressed, and you say, oh, what does your life look like? The problem is that normality has become absurd. And then they're judging themselves as being there's something wrong with them, and I'm just like, well, no. Look at your life. You work in insurance. You're working, 10-hour days in some fucking office doing some job that's meaningless with people that, if you died, would they even care? Your kids are in school. You never see them. They're in bed before you get back. Your wife's trying to feel better by, buying shit that she doesn't need to impress people she doesn't even like. And you're wondering why you don't feel the best. I mean, it's like, of course. Of course you don't. It sounds bleak, but how many people's lives, it's like resilience has become the ability to deal with absurdity instead of facing reality.
That's reality. And we can all sort of sugarcoat it, but I mean, shit, not everybody's life is like that, but there's a desire to not scratch beneath the surface, to reveal all of that. So as long as we can keep the illusion going, we can survive. I mean, that's it, isn't it? If we start to really kind of reveal the true identity of this sinister or insidious element that's running through our kind of lives, it's like, well, where do we go with that? But I think, unfortunately, until we do address that, then we just keep skidding over the surface of it.
100%. And that's what I feel on this question about the 100 mil, when that's not a problem anymore. I see people that, would people be on LinkedIn as one thing? And I'm thinking, if you are on LinkedIn and you're still pushing unless you've got like something out there that you want to share with the world, like something meaningful, I can see it's an avenue to communicate. But other than that, I find it's painful. It's a painful feed for me. and it is cringe. I can't see that most people
But
wake
you
up in the
interact with
morning.
it quite a lot. It's like a moth to a flame with you, isn't it?
But it's a means to an end. Because when I'm not in work mode, which I predominantly do for money, then it's not even part of my daily agenda. It wouldn't be on my agenda at all. It would be deleted completely.
Interesting.
That would be the truth. I wouldn't even. I don't feel the value from it. I would feel the value for in-person conversations. We used to do the podcast, I do it in person. I'd go and have in-person experiences, scrolling online, doing posts, likes, clicks, sales funnels. There's no chance.
No.
I just wouldn't be anywhere near it.
We'd get a load of blokes together, wouldn't we? And go out for walks is what we do.
Walks, experiences. Imagine, I don't know, you can do that now, I suppose, but building a school, building something, going out like where I am now in a Armenian mountain place, go and fix a road. So let's get together. Let's go and fix this pavement. Let's make this school look nice. Let's
build something.
Yeah, let's figure out how we can get inspiring. I was speaking to some of the kids here, and they're just not inspired by schooling. And I thought, oh man, that's so sad. Like, if you're a teacher, you should aim to be the most, inspirational person around. You're like driving the next generation. The kids. If you're going to a school and you're a teacher and the kids are not excited by going to the school, there's something wrong.
Yeah. It should be akin to a tribal elder of imparting knowledge to kids. Kids should be sat there. You can just imagine, can't you? The fire there, a backlit cave. You've got everybody wearing sort of animal skins, and they're all just sort of sat there, and the tribal elders there telling tales of hunts and things that have happened, or the sort of spiritual elements of things that they've encountered, to teach
and being active in that role, not it being a one-way road in terms of how that knowledge is imparted, actually being an active participant. These kids should be not in classrooms receiving info most of the time. I think they should be actively engaging in whatever they're learning in. It's like next door, the woman's got like 30 chickens. The roosters are going off every morning. It's just brilliant. These things are running around on the road. They're eating, they run back in. I was like, this is amazing. Then she comes around, brings us fresh eggs. But then I'm asking her, proper free range. And then I'm asking her, I didn't know. How's this chicken things work? How do chickens have sex? What is that? Why is there an egg that I can eat and then there's an egg that's unfertilized?
Is that the chicken and egg?
We went deep on the chicken and egg, but this is not chicken and egg. This is actually real life. How does this? I don't know how this. Yeah. I eat this thing every day. Well, every day, but a few times a week, maybe for my whole life. And I don't even understand how that process works. How detached am I from reality?
Desensitized, that it doesn't come in I thought they just came out in a cardboard box.
Yeah.
And
she kills the things herself. She keeps them for 6 years. And then she's the person who actually wrings the neck.
Dispatches
and I'm just like, oh, Jesus. I couldn't do it, James. I would really struggle to do it unless I was absolutely starving. But it's what does that say about me?
But that I
will eat it.
You haven't grown up with that. That is life, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're detached, aren't we, from our nature?
You think of taking care of something, going out and feeding it every morning for 6 years, and then wringing its neck.
yeah. If that's what I get in my head round, I'm just like, they don't name. She doesn't name them, and I guess that's probably one of the reasons.
So you don't
become attached to it.
I'd be fascinated to know if there's certain chickens that have got a personality.
Oh, it would be
that
hard.
you can't help but go, well, it's got a bit of a quirk. It sort of clucks in a different octave.
Yeah.
And walks with a slight limp, gimpy kind of whatever. When it walks, it goes round in a circle, and all the other ones walk in a straight line. Or it's one wing slightly to the...
It feels like that you can...
I can feel a Disney movie coming on.
But it just goes to show, I guess, the money question, how we can be disconnected from ourselves in so many ways, and how this could actually, even just the question of posing it, can expose you, can't it?
But it is that whole thing.
It can accelerate it.
Of sitting with the question and not distracting yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's sitting with it and thinking, well, why does it make me feel so uncomfortable? But we can gloss over anything if it's convenient, just to kind of get on with our lives. I mean, we're being bombarded with shit 24/7
all the time, yeah.
And to be in a situation where you're trying to address it all is impossible. So you pick your battles and you choose your things to address. But I think the things that really do trouble you, challenge you the most, I think that's the only way to do it. It's just to kind of just sit and think about why that's the case. Where does that come from?
Yeah. And it probably makes you get clear on what you do want, James. I sort of say I want to live in a hut in the mountains, do trekking. I want to feel connected. I like creativity. Would like to do more with acoustic guitar, more with art, definitely more with helping children, people that are struggling, real systems level stuff of societal change, being involved with projects, more in-person stuff. That's stuff that I can do. That doesn't take 100 million.
No, I was going to say you could do that now. So what's holding you back from that?
Probably the need to make money while I'm in London, I guess, and responsibilities. Yeah, so you go for the sort of avenue where you feel that's going to be the safest bet in terms of trying to survive financially.
So why are you still in London?
Children, I would say. Yeah, responsibilities of that, plus opportunity, I guess, if in terms of work opportunity and location wise. And luckily, expense wise, it's pretty good at the moment. So there's a few benefits to being there right now. Maybe that will change in the next sort of 3 to 5 years. But it doesn't seem to
represent any of what you just described, though.
No, and that's why there's got to be a goal to change that. That's why conversations like this, to get you to think, okay, where would I want to be? Does that cost? And when you don't really want for material, it does free you quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. And interesting when you get attached to a location or a situation that then becomes the reason why you don't do something. And that can then become an excuse, can't it? Say, well, I can't leave London because X, Y, Z. But then you unpack it. And those are, again, the difficult conversations to have with yourself, because it can be convenient sometimes to say, well, I can't do that because this situation. But when you start to unpack it, you go, oh, shit, actually, that is a bit of an excuse.
Yeah.
So those are the uncomfortable conversations I was talking about. And like, you all do it. It's like, well, you talk, you fantasize about doing stuff, being somewhere, manifesting whatever. And like, yeah, but I can't because.
Yeah, my decisions are primarily dictated by money. That's where my attention is.
Because your kids would still be where they, if you had 100,000, your kids would still be living where they're living, or still be located where they're located.
Yeah.
So you'd still live in London then, even if you had 100,000, 100 million, I should say.
I would probably just have the ability to move around freely without worry. I could live next door. I could fly somewhere, fly back quickly
so
within a day. I'd have so much flexibility in terms of choice. You could fly private, can you? You could be anywhere at any time, pretty much. You got time freedom, location freedom. But again, how much could you still have that on? How much really do you need to have that? Potentially, you could do that on 10 grand a month, couldn't you? In the right location.
Exactly.
So these things are not that far away sometimes. So it gets you to think, what do I want? What would I do? What do I enjoy? So it's not just a conversation about 100 million lotto. It's more.
Yeah. And that can be paralyzing if you think that you need more than 10,000 a month to achieve that. You think, well, it just seems so unachievable and so far away that I won't even start, because that's, it's going to need a lot of money to be able to have that level of freedom, where actually it isn't really, is it?
But Daniel Priestley would say that's being selfish for not wanting a million, because
selfish to who?
You're being selfish because then if you had
or to the economy?
To yourself, because if you had 120 grand, 10 grand a month, you would be, that's good for you. But if you had 500,000, then you could help more people. That's the logic. So you're actually doing a disservice by not earning more money to other people. But you could say, look, you're giving more money to other people, so you're not giving them the opportunity to actually, question themselves about what they want.
It comes down to the individual. Yeah. If you're the type of individual that would give like that, then okay, if you had more money than you could do, you'd have the resources. If you're not that type of individual, it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah.
And also, conversely, if you are that type of individual, you had less money, then you potentially, if you had enough that you were in a situation where you were comfortable, so 10,000 a month, I think for you, be comfortable enough to be able to give your time. It wouldn't necessarily be monetarily. There could be a level of that, but your time, if you were in a good space, headspace wise, then you could give your time.
Yeah. And it becomes a difficulty of it, as like I said, there's another friend I have whose mum's a multimillionaire. She's bought him a flat. Anytime things are going wrong, he's bowed out money wise. It always knows that safety net's there. But as him being a man, basically he just feels shame and guilt all the time because it's not his money. You feel like a child. You don't have any sense of real achievement, and you can't really deeply enjoy the process of where you're at because it's not something that you've worked for. So there is that as well, isn't there? So you're thinking you're doing a favor to people, but you're actually messing them up. And I've seen that multiple times.
Massively disempower. And with all the good intentions, but just completely disempowering them and enabling.
Yeah. So yeah, big ones. Big question. I think it's a good thought experiment for any person to do, whether they're worried about losing their job in AI, they're a school leaver, or they're in a midlife and they want a career change. Probably not a bad thing to do, isn't it? As an exercise to sit down and say, right, you've just won 100 million. What do you want your day to look like? What do you want your lifestyle to look like? Let's design your ideal day. Let's design the life that you would want, and then sort of try and reverse engineer, what problems you could solve or how you potentially get there. Because you might realize that you're maybe climbing a ladder that's up against the wrong wall, or you're just going in the wrong direction. It might help you align your values a bit more, or realize where you want to be.
Yeah, I'd sign up for that.
And I don't think many people do it, do they, James? So I think it's important to sit down, and they're going to have to do it with this AI stuff, I think. So it's not a bad thing to do. Right, James, I'm going to go off and not spend any money. Okay.
Good. Go build something.
I'm going to go and build the life. But
I want about 100 meters of road by the end of the day.
100 meters of road, yeah. Start digging.
Tarmacked.
Yeah. Exciting.
Cultivated.
Okay then, James. I'll see you on the other side.
Or I do.
Take care, people. Bye bye.
Much love.
Bye bye.